Alright, jump scare. Hello guys. Welcome back to Southeast Asia Taiko Championship 2024. While my lovely streamer here is setting up everything, I can't hear any audio at the moment, but it's chill. Welcome back guys to the first match of semifinals. Things are going really fast. We have a first pick straight into the trickiest map of the pool, the Gimmick Fremont 2. And both players opting for Hard Rock. So, considering that everything has just immediately started, I'll talk a little bit about the players. Sera and Element both last week having quite nice matches, and Element having to play quite a lot of maps last week as well. I think he's played like 18 maps. Not of different kinds, obviously, but he had to play 2 very drawn-out matches, and he fought very valiantly. And Sera also looking very strong on the map pool last week, but definitely maybe showing a few signs of struggle. But yeah, as we get in about a third of the way through, both players still finding the FC with Hard Rock. This is a very difficult map, especially if you're not completely familiar with it. The SVs, even with practice, are really high and susceptible to misses like this, as shown by Sera missing there. And the lead swaps back to Element. Still, score lead still looking very close, and it tries to flip back a little bit more as Element finds more 100s, but the score gap is so close at the moment. Sera finds a miss earlier, but Element is down about almost 1% in accuracy. So the score lead still continues to go to Sera here. He finds another miss though, unfortunately, and the score flips back to Element, who's now leading about a 8,000 combo. As we get into the, I believe, the spinner section. I think, but Sera gets back their lead because Element finds a miss, and the lead is just swapping. It's just actually in a tug of war at the moment. Sera still holding 0.9% accuracy higher, but Element slowly clawing his way back up. Any miss right now would be huge as we get into the final section here. And Sera continues to hold that 10,000 lead just towards the end of the map. Does he take it? Just the final bits. And he does. Nice. So we did see some shaky score changes just now in that map. That was a banger opener. That was very close, very intense. But Element unfortunately finding that drop, and the lead just shifts over to Sera. But I have no idea whose pick this is. I'll find out in a little bit. But nice, good first point for Sera. And very base that they're starting out with FM2. I respect it. Oh, that was Element's first pick. Okay, so break point for Sera on the first map, and now we get into, I believe I saw a no-mod tree. That'll be exciting. I think that's definitely a good choice for Sera as well, considering they are a very consistent player, especially from last week's scores as well. And Element had shown much more struggles on accuracy, whereas Sera is quite doesn't like to budge. Let's put it that way. Let's see how both players fare in the No-Mod 3. But yeah, nice. I think in terms of this map, besides the finishers and a few tricky patterns, there's not too much that trips people up. It's just a very standard, moderate difficulty speed map that everybody just has to stay consistent on. No surprises here, but definitely able to trip up if you're not expecting subsections. Especially there's some parts with both players find a 100. Nice. There are some sections with finisher and the sliders that go straight into a next node, which can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're not prepared. But overall, this map is quite nice. There are also a few 1-2s. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's one of the 1-4, 1-2 finishers there that the SV makes it look a little tricky. Element struggling quite a bit more than Sera on this map, as you can see. There's a really good pick for Sera here, as they hold a 99.5% combo on this, and Element unfortunately finds a drop right as he's about to hit the 400 combo cap, which is quite unfortunate. If you ever want to miss on a map, guys, miss at the beginning, because that's when your combo doesn't matter. If you miss towards the 400 combo cap, you might see a score difference similar to what we see right now. Yeah, Sera staying very strong, very rigid. Element, unfortunately, I think struggling a little more on, especially the monos in this map, with the fast 5-flip pattern. Especially since Element is a DDKK player as well, so it's understandable that they would struggle a little more with the monos. I can see as well they're picking up the 100s more often on the triple dons and the other 100s. Yeah, finding a miss on that one tree. Oh, Sera finds quite a large chain miss as well, but unfortunately not enough to take back the lead to get the lead stolen. And they still lead a very comfortable 90,000 points, and I think this is an deal for Sera. It's a comfortable second point win for Sera. Very nice. Both players holding up really well. Element actually still giving out a really great score, but unfortunately just missing too much randomly in areas, not able to build up that combo cap and get a higher score. And Sera having a very great score, but unfortunately chain missing at the end, still manages to take the point. Very nice. Alright, and we see the next pick. See Element going for Hidden 2. This map is very tricky. Well, actually it's more like the end that's very tricky, at least for me, because I think you either SS it, or you might get like 40 misses on the KKDD. Not a fan personally, but I think this should go well for both players. I feel like both Element and Sera are quite strong hard rock players. I think the hidden pick is interesting. Element's hidden has shown to be better, but especially from last week with Hidden 2, their scores were next to each other. So let's see how this one goes. And right off the bat, quite strong start from both players. Sera looking a little stronger with SS. Element picking up a few 100s, but let's see how this goes. Element might be banking on the final pattern at the end, because I reckon that's a lot more comfortable to hit with DDKK. And Sera, 1/4 of the map through, still holding the SS, really strong. Element, great score as well, 98.7. Okay, no more SS, unfortunate. Both players, the score lead is very, very close. Score gap's about like a measly 6,000, as both players still continue. The FC hold up their accuracy. Yeah, I think in regards to this map, they're like the most of it isn't really that tricky. The 1/6s might trip you up, but it's more of the end, to be honest. There's some like 1/3s as well that can really mess with your accuracy. That's right here. This part can be a little weird, but it's overall not too bad. We do see Sera and Element picking some 100s. The score gap does shorten a little bit, as they have a 0.33% active now. As we get into the final stretch, let's see who comes out alive and who comes out winning. Both players refusing to drop anything. This is very intense. Even through all the long streams, all of the patterns, all of the finishers, none of them drop anything, and I think it will actually all come down to that final stream. Let's see how both players fare. Element holding mighty strong, Sera also holding mighty strong. The accuracy gap has shortened to 0.22% now. And as we get down to the final bit, let's see who survives. Element picks up all 100, Sera picks up some as well. And Sera does take it in the final moment. Element picks up just a few too many. I saw a lot of drops there. Any misses would have been definitive, but both players holding on really, really strong. That was very intense for the ending. It makes for a good map finisher. Not fun for players, but good for viewership. And Sera leads with 8,000 score difference. Both players hitting the FC. That's better than me, because I haven't FC'd the map, because I can't hit the ending, unfortunately. But well done to both players. Also, I forgot to mention this just now, but we do see Nomad 2 banned by Sera, and DD2 banned by Philip, which makes sense to me, because I think Sera does struggle a little bit more with the tech picks, especially considering this week's Nomad 2 is very difficult. And Element struggles quite heavily on DT AC as well, so the DT2 ban is definitely understandable. And we do see Sera, the consistency individual himself, picking Nomad 4. I think that's a good pick to solidify his lead against Element. Considering that Sera has taken quite a lot of good points now. Two very good break points, and I think this would definitely cement his lead, and it's gonna be Element having a hard time clawing his lead back up and matching Sera. And I think for this map as well, if you can play the what you call it, the offhand 3 dawn notes in the stream, I think that's like the biggest trick of this map. But overall, this map doesn't have too many surprises. There's like a few tricky hand switches in the streams, but overall nothing too bad. As we get off, I think Sera holds a 1. Oh, he does find a huge miss exactly at the 3 dawns that I was thinking about. And unfortunately, Sera still holds slightly higher accuracy at the minute, and Element only holds a small score lead. As we continue on, Sera holds that 0.5, 0.6, but as Element drops a few more 100s, the score gap does get slightly closer. Those are some tricky hand switches and both players pull through just fine. Element has got to fight for this point right here, or it's gonna be a tough match for him being 4 points down. While holding on that 5,000 right now, getting halfway into the break. Both players can chill for a second. Element has to hold on to that combo for his dear life to win this point back. There's the ramp up section into the last few final streams. More tricky offline patterns to come. Element does hit 100 there, but he's gonna need to find a few more to get that score lead away. So if he holds true, this could be a huge victory for him in this round. A bit shaky, the score lead continues to shorten. It's kind of like tied now, I don't even know. But Sera unfortunately drops again at the same 3 dawn combo, and Element takes back the lead. The score gap isn't wide enough that I can say anything yet. Any misses here would be huge once again. Element breaks through the 1000 combo, gets to the 3rd quarter of the map, finds about a 10,000 score lead. And as long as he holds true, doesn't miss, he can afford to lose a few 100s here and that'll be completely fine. The score gap is looking quite big now. And Sera, unfortunately, holding a godlike accuracy, but just missing on that one, brain locking on that one pattern with the 3 dawns. 3 dawn hand switch. As we close out here. Still a little bit left, but I think there might not be any surprise. As both players hold, Element looks a little shaky there, picking up quite a few 100s. As long as he doesn't chain miss, everything will be fine. Final stretch, hold. And he hits the monos. That was really scary. He was I think that was a bit of an overcorrection, especially on the monos. That'll be tough. But Element picks up a huge breakpoint win on No Mod 4 against the consistency master himself. That's great. 3rd breakpoint. So let's see what Element is going to choose next to keep the ball rolling. I feel like quite a lot of picks for him now are quite risky, just because Sera looks to be still quite strong on this pool and refuses to get skill capped by any means, but I do think free mods could be a good pick for Element. Hard Rock, I think, is 50-50 because both of them are really good at Hard Rock, so I have no idea who's going to win that. I would be more than happy to see them play it though. And Element does go for No Mod 1. Very nice. Quite possibly, maybe my favorite map of the pool, this pool. I just love the song and the mapping. It's pretty good. There's one burst in this map that is really hard, so we'll see how both players handle it. Got a jump scare from a secondary caster here to join us, Youngin. Hello. That's alright, dog. You're good. You're gonna be casting with no stream audio, so I'm actually just talking to the void right now. But yeah, this is the match you said you were excited and looking forward to, and it is kind of as exciting as it kind of gets right now. We have 3 breakpoints. Element just took one, and now it's his pick. So if he takes this back, it could be huge for him.
Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah.
I've been seeing, honestly, it's this fight I think might be interesting, but looking like somehow so far the performance, I feel like Sera has quite a bit of a big
Advantage?
big advantage. It's more like Element has
Yeah.
like last map I would say it's more like around Element. I'm gonna get a little bit lucky with the 2 break from Sera. If it's one last break, Sera would have to take it. But that's just number 4 for you, just based on nothing, and then you say goodbye to the map because the map is
Yeah, that's exactly why I love Nomad 4 so much. It's the most unexpected random victories, but Sera unfortunately is still looking just he does find a break on another one of the offhand triple down patterns, but Sera's act still looks consistently really strong in this pool, and he refuses to get skill cap just yet. But Element holding on quite strong as well, but the act difference definitely does suffer quite a bit. It's a natural disadvantage.
300 BPM stream patterns coming up soon. First, we're gonna go through the slower section. Usually, it's more about the reading, and I do believe both players should be dropping quite a lot of accuracy in this one because, to me, honestly, both players are not really that heavy reading type of player. We do see Sera literally dropping in the slow section more than anywhere else in the map, despite the map is probably like 5 times easier in terms of mechanical skills. Now that's just
come on.
Yeah,
come on, boys. This is the easiest section, boys. Why are you dropping action? It is definitely not as easy as it seems, but do train your low SB reading as well, as it could be very handy for maps like these.
When it comes to rolling 320 BPM section, and I do believe both players should be able to go through that pattern because honestly both players should be able to roll for it. Here it comes. Ready for players to might drop some accuracy or some misses. It's hard.
Look to be just
Everybody
fine. Just fine.
We are looking at the accuracy difference between these 2 players. We do see Sera is slightly above on 98.5 despite having a lower combo count, but in Taiko, 400 is the combo cap here, so you are not really missing out any scores from now on, as we do see Sera is gaining around 2 points per notes, and that's extending the lead, as well as Element dropping one just left and right in the final chorus in the consistency section as well. Seems like Sera is gonna be handily taking 4 points in his favor, and also another breakpoint final normal map as well.
Yeah, this is going to be the 4th breakpoint of our match, and unfortunately Element is struggling a little too much with the 1.4% accuracy difference. I'm not sure if he was banking on him being able to hit the burst and Sera missed him, but both players honestly tough it out. They both hit the burst, and Sera just comes out on top with the half the 100 count of accuracy. Well played. So once again, yeah, it's a tough spot for Element, and he's gonna have to try to find another breakpoint from Sera yet again. But all nomads have been exhausted this time, and if Sera chooses an accuracy-heavy map yet again, it's gonna be a tough spot for Element. That's for sure. I don't know about you. I'm really hoping to see a hard rock play because I'm pretty sure both players are like very hard rock special. Maybe not specialty, but they're very proficient in hard rock. I want to see how close their score can get.
I think they go top. I think Sera just go for time 1 and go for accuracy 3 as well. Hidden one is not exactly the pick I would expect Sera to go for, but let's take a look at how they will handle the HD one. And honestly, to me, a slightly more interesting pick after 4, I would say probably the most famous now. Okay, not number 1, but for 3 famous now. Now that we are dropping down to 151 BPM hidden, and not really it's kind and generous for a 151 BPM hidden. There are still some of the 16 micro players as well. But I do believe both of these players should be able to handle around this slow speed. Element before is more like a hard rock player, but around 2021 that he's fully able to play this type of like slower-ish hidden. And Sera is also should be able to play quite a bit of slow hidden, but both players doesn't strike me. Both players don't really strike me as a slow HD main. So
Yeah, for sure. But I'm definitely excited to see how this match turns out. Just because last week as well with their scores, Sera and Element had very similar scores. Well, Element did have to play Hidden 1 twice, but last week's Hidden 1 was comparatively a lot easier than what we have this week, that's for sure. So there's a lot of odd patternings and weird patterns on this map, so I'm not sure if Element can handle that really well as Sera can, accuracy-wise. We do see some early drops from Element. Sera also picking up a few 100s, but not as much as Element, struggling at the minute.
Players have to slow down after the map, after the last map, and even last map we have been seeing both players on HD, not HD, but like slow parts on Noble 1. They have been dropping accuracy as well, so into an actual slow hidden pick, we are seeing both players are slightly struggling the map. Element's not on the combo, but Sera is on the combo.
Yeah, unfortunately he does find a chain miss there, but Element's accuracy is just a little bit in the dumps at the moment, and the 5% is not enough to make up for that chain miss. And I have a feeling this kind of map that they've picked is sort of like both players go in and see who dies less. And currently Sera is dying a little less at the moment, holding that 5% accuracy lead, which is huge for a combo. Element finds a miss as well, further extending that score gap, and it's going to be a rough final map for him. Sera's about to hit that 400 combo cap as well. It's just going to be a rough time. Unless he finds a massive break, it's going to be hard for that score gap to close out it once again.
Again, a lot of drops from both sides, really.
Sera's looking quite stable now. He's been holding quite well, and Element also doing quite good, but in this final section, Sera does unfortunately find a miss, but this final section is more just 1-4 streams. So both players doing very well on that. And Element does hit the 400 combo cap, but unfortunately the accuracy difference is too big for the score gap to have any sort of change in momentum here. And as the final few nodes come, Element finds more chain misses, the score gap increases by quite a lot, and this is a definite win for Sera here. And he takes the map with 146,000 score lead. With 31 100s and 8 misses, Element unfortunately struggling quite a fair bit throughout the entire map. And seemingly a good pick from Sera.
Yeah, I guess that's how it is right now. And now Element's pick, going for Hard Rock to, again, I mentioned Elements before, it's a Hard Rock player. And now going back to his like old special now.
Going back to his roots, yes.
Yes. old special roots, I say.
Old special roots, yeah. Especially last week, both of them also crossed 1 million on the last week's Hard Rock 2. And as you guys know, this week's Hard Rock 2 definitely has a huge ramp up in SV. The patterns are most definitely easier, but you still have to be able to read it. So let's see who comes out as the better reading Hard Rock player after this map. There's especially one section as well in this map that is really tiring, with the triple long streams, and if Element can get through that, this will be a done and dusted good map for him. But that combo of streams also has a lot of KD, which I believe can be more tiring for a DDKK player like Element.
Those are, I would say, like the hardest part of the map, especially the 3 streams. And again, mentioning about the overall difficulty though, Element has been dropping accuracies a lot more than Sera, and leaving that high in terms of OD, I think might actually make his accuracy struggles quite a lot as well. So far we are on the easier part of the map, and both players are handling just fine, but as the map gets further, the score is going to drop harder and harder, and like Crapcar said, this is the hardest map, one of the hardest maps of the entire game, to be honest.
That's for sure.
And that's coming from a hard rock player as well.
That's true. But I'm also interested to see if both players can get through the DDDK 1-6 double spam. Because to be honest, if you're really tired from already playing the streams, Element does find the first place unfortunately. Score gap doesn't shift too much, but if both players can get through the 1-6 combos, this could be good as well. But just a lot of stuff in the map to trip you up, and you just have to keep your stamina up high. And Sera just looking... Oh, he does find a break on the 1-6 DDDK, but the score lead doesn't shift as much. He does find more misses though, and they're almost tied accuracy for a second.
It's gonna be shifting back to Element. Seems like right now Element has the combo and accuracy advantage, but the stream is gonna be coming up soon. Can he hold it on? It's all about those streams. Once you miss, you're gonna drop so many scores from them, and we even have some evening happening for now. But both players is going just fine, and Sera has been recovering into the density of the map. Element is finding the break and slowly going back to Sera.
Finds another miss. Yeah.
Sera needs more accuracy drop from Element. I think it's basically tied right now.
As you can really see as the map progresses as well, Sera does find... I think Sera finds a little bit more difficulty in maintaining that stamina, but the lead still stays with Element for a while. It does get closer and closer just because he drops a few 100s, but both players hold towards the end. It's so close, Element has to hold.
Part of the map, we have a bit of a lag, and
we get to see Sera does take the map in the end.
Oh my god, Sera! The Bancho trolled! Bancho tried to bait us that Elements win, but Sera says no, come back with a singular play right at the ending, closes out the gate on the final opponent in a row, and what a way to close out the match 6-1, and Sera will be moving on despite having 4 more misses from than Elements. And oh my god, what a way to end up on Hard Rock 2.
Yeah, Sera closes out the match with a time travel tech and catches up the score to Element with a 3,000 score diff. Very well played from both players, and honestly, what a way to close out the match. Really good showing from both players here with all of the maps, great scores, and Sera still looking as consistent as ever. Element, unfortunately, will be eliminated from the tournament. But GGWP to both players, and well done Sera for advancing. And see you, I guess we'll be seeing him again tomorrow, I believe.
I do believe so. Sera will be facing the winners between Bonamus and Description Cringe, which is going to be coming up the next match in 23 minutes. So watch to see who's going to be the one to take the match. And they will be facing Sera, which again, very speed competent player. And I mean, yeah, I guess we can say the same for the other 2 players in the same loser brackets branch as well. So we see a speedier battle when it comes up, no matter Pronemus win or the Description Cringe win. But right now, we will be moving on to a tiebreaker showcase. I'm not too sure are we going to be streaming it, but if we do, we'll be moving back to the match between them. If we don't, we'll be seeing you guys in 22 minutes between Pronemus and Description Cringe. But I guess we'll be seeing a tiebreaker for now. We see the earlier layouts between Pronemus and Description Cringe, but yeah.
I am excited to see how they would fare. Wait, oh, this is okay. I didn't notice the layout change, but yeah, I am intrigued to see how they would fare on the TV, especially with the 1-6 spams. But we'll see how they go on it. Unless we're not doing it, then we'll see you guys. Nope, we are doing it.
Here it comes.
I'll be quite surprised if I see any mods on this. I would say this TB is definitely more hiddenable than it is hard rockable, and it does ring true as Element puts hidden on it. But really, when it comes down to hidden, you just have to be able to play 230 BPM streams and hit like 216s and you'll be just fine. Youngin, what are your thoughts on the next match coming up between Konamis and Discreetly Cringe? Would you like to give some insights to the viewers?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, even though I know both sides, I would say both are pretty good constant speed player. However, both players are mostly focusing around the similar skill sets, so I don't think we'll be seeing a close match. If one person is performing better than the others, they're most likely gonna be closing out Baxter's match in general, because you're just winning one skill. If you are facing like a similar skill set players, and then despite your skill might be actually similar, it's gonna be quite one-sided. Because each top PGs are better than you, basically. I don't want to say it that way, however, I just feel like Konamis is
I do.
In that match.
I do understand the point that you're trying to make, because unfortunately Konamis is also quite a good all-rounder in the sense that he has the accuracy, he has the DT ac, he has the no-mod capabilities, and as you mentioned as well, they do have quite similar skill caps. They don't have something that's insanely unique that they can trample each other on. So I think Konamis is definitely favored to win the match, but Discreetly can definitely hold up his own as well, because he's shown to be really adept and good at no mod and DT as well. But Konamis' ac is definitely one to not to play around with, that's for sure.
Last week, Description Cringe basically forced the GT into a TV situation, and the next match, I don't know how is it gonna be. I think he has a chance on free mod 2 and no mod 2, let's say. I think those two are probably Description Cringe best maps. I mean, you can just pick Hidden 1 to see how it goes as well, and I feel like that's just gonna be 50-50, because honestly, I think both players are not really
slow hidden players.
Slow hidden players, and I feel like both will trouble quite a bit in that sense. And Pona is probably gonna leave just a bit better, but we'll see how Descriptive Cringe fares in that match. However, I do want to mention that No Mod 2, this seems like the best pick to me. I feel like Ponamus if I'm Ponamus, I would straight up banning that map, and then Free Mod 2, hopefully we have hopefully Description Cringe able to at least perform better this week, because last week he did not have a fun time on Free Mod 2 at all, getting 800k against BT. so if honestly, then No Mod 2.
Free mod 2, please just practice, because to be completely honest, you'll definitely get it after a while. But if you tell yourself immediately that you cannot understand the map, you will definitely not like it. But if you just play it like 4 or 5 times, it'll be chill. That's a promise. Free mod 2 is just the practice map.
There's one more map that I think is quite Pretty Cringe has a chance, which is DT1. That's why we say Ponamus being a really good DT player. I think this week's DT is a bit different, and I feel like Description Cringe can definitely snap out a point from that pick, I just said, because it's a weird team.
I do agree as well, because especially if you're prepared for just the SVs in general. Like Descripty, when he played against me in winner's bracket, he displayed a very strong showing in DT2, or just DT AC in general as well. So if he's just more prepared than Ponamus on that front, I think he can do really well. But unfortunately, I think with Ponamus, because he tends to focus on accuracy quite a fair bit, that's why he struggles a lot more with tech and no mod 2, just because he can't hit the notes and he can't hack it, and it's just a bit of like a nuclear bomb kind of situation. But definitely a map that Descripty can pick if Konami doesn't ban it. And getting back to this TV, it's kind of going as well as I would expect. They miss on the 1-6 spams and they hit the majority of the stream notes, which is sort of as good as I would expect them.
Yeah, the 1-6 is again, like I talk about in the showcase, I think it's quite roller farmy if you play a lot of 2017 farm maps. You probably can play it quite well. Like honestly, if I am like an old-time player and I come back to this map, I would say that's probably one of the easier parts of the map. But if you're a newer player, you will think the DDK offline maps are the harder parts. But right now, I think it has kind of a bit differently in that sense. But you do see Element finding a lot of struggle because he's being a DDK and he's being bullied by these monster chains.
Yeah, I did see him hit a few of the 1-6s, which, fair play to him, DDK player and all. Good stuff, but hidden is quite rough on this map, in all honesty. Very rough. Honestly, as a full alt player going into TB as well, not fan, but I think there's enough feedback on it that I don't have to say anything. But the 1-6 spams are honestly brutal. Honestly brutal, especially if you're 5-5 and you need to play TB. Absolutely brutal.
I mean, farm, play more XUDT. That's all I can say. XUDT, play more XUDT. You get your PP farm.
I actually have not played XUDT. Not gonna lie, dude. Okay. The rework just killed all the cheese maps, bro. I don't even touch them anymore.
But yeah, I mean, if you are really an old player, I think the TB will be just fine. However, I don't think we have that many old players in this tournament. Like all the old names are kind of retired at this point, so now you need to suffer again in those patterns. But again, once again, GG well played with both of these ways in the match. It was a not as close match after, I would say, around 3 maps in. Elements that snap upon on No More 4, but unfortunately, Sera is just a tiny bit better in a lot of the maps, such as Hard Rock 2 and No More 1. And at the end, close out in a 6-1. In terms of scoreline, quite dominant fashion.
But quite dominant fashion. But I think the way how the match was sent off with Hard Rock 2 being as close as it was with Banjo trolling, it was definitely a good send-off. And it was a great match and overall. Well played to both players.
Yep, and we'll be closing off stream as our streamer needs a 40 minutes recess, as we'll be streaming next match again to decide who is going to be playing Sera tomorrow. Description page, this is Konami. See you guys in 40 to 30 minutes. Goodbye.
See you guys later. Thanks for having us.